It's that Crash like Ninja man back to the scheduled program. I watched this episode and the whole season. Boy, y'all better stop playing on Mark Top, but he putting in work. I don't care what nobody say.
Welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Jessica Clemens, and this is a breakdown of Invincible Season 3, Episode 4, titled You Were My Hero. 2 episodes in, where we do a little bit of time traveling in one half and a prison break in the other? What the hell's going on? Plus, we learn about one of the biggest secrets that the Viltrumites have been keeping from the rest of the galaxy. But first, make sure to check out
No, that's only 50 Viltrumites. It's crazy though.
Ride.shop, where you can find the latest and greatest in New Rockstars merch. We got so many options over there. Go check it out. It's the best way to support the channel. But
And then they got you. Then they got a heart now. They done tricked him into being a good guy again. He's sliding for marking them now.
right now, I gotta get into this breakdown, so let's do it. We open on Rexplode and Shrinking Ray doing a little bit of grocery shopping, and they are very much out of their element. Rex stuffs some crunchies in his
I don't like that girl at all, bro. I don't know her name or nothing, but I don't like her.
mouth, and he better be planning on paying for those. Although, I guess anything you finish before leaving the store is actually free. I don't know if that's true or not. This is definitely Gina wants to steal things. Ray has a list, and in her shopping basket, she's got some pasta, a can of something, cheese, and the thing that they don't know if it's a zucchini or a cucumber because they're a bunch of idiots. I say zucchini based on the stock, but clearly neither of them does this very often. This scene really makes it clear that
I mean, they said they don't do it often.
most of these superheroes didn't get a normal family upbringing like Mark did. Rex
What are you thinking when facing your opponent?
And there is no opponent.
Chill out, bro. That did
doesn't
look
know
tough.
what dairy products even are. And by focusing on becoming heroes, they've missed out on the grocery shopping, make dinner for her and her friends, and then eat that dinner. But before they can finish, a rock monster dude that I don't think we've seen before knocks over a bus, and they've got to go to work. So they're going to be eating delivery pizza again tonight. We see Mark.
Ain't no way they beat him. Well, I cannot see them beating him. But they're just them two? Come on now.
Mark brought the exploding camera ball thing to Robot to analyze. He says it's sophisticated and of Earth and made by someone with a lot of resources. So Mark thinks maybe it belongs to the GDA. They've been known to spy on him and his family before. It also looks similar to the Red-Eye drones we saw the GDA have used before in Season 1, Episode 8. Mark attacks before asking any questions, and how many of these freaking Reaniman does the GDA actually have? Because they are taking a lot of corpses.
Yeah, they gotta stop even acting like they playing with Mark Top, because he done killed some of them robots. They probably done spent 100 billion just off Mark destroying robots.
Corpse Eye and turning them into this, and it feels horrible and icky. Mark's already destroyed so many of them, and Cecil has now equipped the hallway with speakers that can blast that sea creature noise that incapacitates Mark. It's really Cecil's only defense against him other than the Reaniman, and Mark cuts through those people like butter. Those dead zombie creatures like butter, I should say. Cecil denies that the surveillance ball belongs to them, but after Mark leaves, Cecil does admit that he indeed does keep spying on Mark and his family. Mark flies off for a second try at a date with Eve, or a first
They need to stop letting that ear thing hurt them. After the fifth time, because I know it's gonna be at least 5 times, they better stop making that work, bro. I don't want to see no weaknesses.
date with Eve. Oh, a second first date. Who would have thought? His phone background is the Seance dog. And Mark meets Eve at Cafe Bistro by the Eiffel Tower for a date. And the name is hilarious because a cafe and a bistro are 2 different generic names for eateries. This is like naming a place restaurant bar. Also, I forgot Eve could fly. And
There's so many places called restaurant bar.
that makes sense how they both ended up in Paris that quickly. This is the date they rescheduled after the last one got interrupted because there's always some disaster or another thing distracting them. Also, Mark's acting like Nolan by having a date in a different country. Nolan and Debbie used to do
No, I don't like how they try to act like they gotta do it during the daytime. Who doesn't do it at night? Well, they do, but a lot of people do it at night though. It don't gotta be during the day.
this all the time, and now Eve and Mark are doing it. The future twins Dropkick in purple and Fightmaster in orange crash the date by opening a future portal next to Mark and Amber's table. They want Mark to help them overthrow their
See, the show be dead wrong because they made Mark look like they ain't got no hands, but they really do got hands.
king, and he refuses, so they grab him and just kidnap him into the future. At one point, Mark, from after the upcoming fight, portals in and grabs his own date clothes. And he recognizes that he looks sad, and spoilers, by the end of the episode, it's kind of morbid why he looks
Why would you drop that so early? And you said spoilers and instantly said it. That's not how you do it.
so sad. The twins explain that their world is super messed up because the King of Earth basically went dictator crazy. There were centuries of wars between the people and the king, and as they describe all this in the flashback,
I thought he was gonna be a Viltrumite, bruh. They made it what's that nigga name? I forgot.
See a
Nah, but I should remember this. See? I'm bad.
bearded figure wearing a crown. He almost resembles Thetis from the
Oh, Immortal. Yeah, they made it look like that dude. That's what I thought it was, but yeah, it's Immortal. It's crazy.
Coalition of Planets. They stole the Declaration of Independence because they heard the ink from it could also kill him, but it just didn't work. The show is trying to mislead us into thinking this might be future Mark or Nolan or another Viltrumite, because the one-handed chop that the king uses to chop a guy in half is very a Viltrumite move. But Mark asks the twins if the king is a Viltrumite, and they don't know what that even is. So in the future, the Viltrumites clearly didn't take over Earth, and at the end of this episode, we find out that there were only about 50 pure-blooded Viltrumites left. So maybe in this future, they've already been defeated and wiped out. Humans aren't supposed to be outside unless they're working in
Nah, I think this future just don't matter.
these labor camps or going to a family member's funeral, so enforcer robots show up to arrest Mark and the twins. Mark wants to make sure the robot guards aren't sentient before he starts wiping them out. He doesn't want to be killing living things in the future, probably be a good role model for Oliver. But he also doesn't listen to Dropkick and Fightmaster's plan before he even starts fighting, kind of showing he's defaulting to pure power, physical superiority over the strategy.
If he finds out you're not human, he is killing you. Like, AIs could never take over with this nigga. He's killing you fast.
They reveal they want to be captured because it's the fastest way to the king, and Mark then asks this.
Also, what's the king's name?
More robots then interrupt before the twins can answer because the show wants that sweet late reveal, baby. These futuristic handcuff things were very similar to the ones the Viltrumites use on Alan and Nolan. Not exactly the same, but they could definitely be an advancement.
See, the difference between Mark and Batman, bro? Batman's killing an alien lickety split. Like, he thinks killing aliens is justified, I think. But a human, he ain't touching that nigga. Now, this nigga Mark, he ain't trying to kill nothing. But as soon as you a robot, it's over with.
Form of tech, more misdirection that the king could be a Viltrumite. And I love this reveal. It's not Mark's dad or some future version of Mark, but the Immortal who rules over Earth, which is hilarious because it's been established that the Immortal is also Abraham Lincoln, and this dude is now creating slave camps, which is decidedly unlegal.
They got him as Abraham Lincoln. When did they say that? Maybe I gotta go back to the old episodes, bro, because I do not remember that.
Thinking of him. Also, the rumor that he could be killed by the ink from the Declaration of Independence probably was some twisted game of telephone because he's a former US president. Omni-Man took out the Immortal in the pilot episode, so theoretically Mark can be even stronger here and take him out as well. The Invincible logo this time is white on red, then Zap switches to yellow on blue, then white on gray. We learn from the Immortal that at some point Mark got sick with something but found a cure, and in the future he's much bigger and stronger. Mark was also then put in charge of Earth but left with his family and left Immortal in charge for some unspecified reason. Lots of information is thrown out here, but no reason why behind any of it. The Immortal's been alive for so
That's Invincible for you.
long and been married to so many women that he can't even remember Kate at this point, who in Mark's time, he just got
Bro, you gotta know he don't care about her. The only thing he likes about her is she hard to kill, like him.
engaged to. He does remember the red-haired woman Mark was with, who Mark assumes was Eve. We don't know how long Eve would live for. She might just have an average lifespan, or maybe her powers extend her life. It could also be a totally different red-haired woman he's talking about here. So when the Immortal says Mark left
That would be crazy.
with his family, they probably didn't include Debbie, as she probably wouldn't have been alive by this time, but it could have included Oliver as well as Eve if she lived that long, and any kids Mark may have had with Eve or someone else. Since Mark has Viltrumite DNA, his offspring would probably have extended lifespans as well. Thank you for BetterHelp for sponsoring this video. There's a lot going on right now. Politics can generate a lot of anxiety, uncertainty, and unease about your place in the world. Rather than getting overwhelmed, may start in a couple of days.
BetterHelp.
Available every day, and it's obvious why. BetterHelp makes sure as well. Start fresh any day of the Rockstars ever loved is something Nolan warned Mark about at the end of season 1. Also, this scene really tears at my heartstrings. Immortal lives forever, and Mark tricked him, but Immortal's also going crazy now. So what is this world? It's so sad. The Immortal wants Mark to kill him, which Mark isn't down with. So
It's not that sad. He just was tired of living, bro. And nobody else could kill him. That's why they need more strong characters in the show.
Immortal immediately freaks out and just starts fighting him. Everyone on the show is just so reactive. No one ever says, hey, should we grab coffee and talk this out? It's always into ass kicking immediately, which I love, but also this is
Yeah, like how much they fight this season You don't even need dialogue like that. These niggas throw hands so much. You would be surprised they had this much dialogue.
Sad scene. I just want him to realize he's wrong. Invincible tells Immortal to throw himself into the sun or something, to which Immortal replies, "Suicide is a coward's escape." Damn. Icarus. Well, Icarus was a coward. And
That nigga was a coward. But yeah, nah, bro. If you want to die and you let a nigga kill you, that's suicide.
in Eternals. Immortal threatens the twins, so Mark finally then acts and twists his head off. Mark tells the twins to keep his parts separated, and when Omni-Man killed the Immortal and the pilot, Cecil was able to put his head back on his body and bring him back. Mark is super depressed that he just killed someone, especially after he told Oliver that killing people is almost never okay. Then he closes the loop by grabbing his clothes from the past him, and now he understands why he looked so sad before.
Great news! Now your account has a level, and you get free daily cases for it every day. Higher your
I
level.
don't care.
Mark sees what the future could look like through the Immortal, and he's also just tired of people thanking him for killing people. It's weird. Back in the present on his date, Eve promises to kick
Bro, a nigga don't like killing people, and you keep on congratulating them for it. It's crazy.
Mark's ass if he ever turns into a giant world-conquering dick, as long as Mark promises to do the same for her. And Mark says Eve could never do something like that, and she gives him a look.
She can't, cause she ain't that strong.
Maybe foreshadowing something? Probably not.
No.
With this show, you just never know. Watch Eve become the worst person on the planet. Mark says they need to make a stop in New York to return the Declaration of Independence, and Eve corrects him that he means Washington, D.C. This is a callback to when he didn't know where Mount Rushmore was, and Eve had to
Nigga don't know Noah's story. What did he learn in school?
correct him then too. DC is between Maryland and Virginia, so nowhere near New York. Then we get this really cute montage of Mark and Eve on their date, which is intercut with memories of them from the past season, and it's set to Joji's Your Man. We see them flying over the desert and standing on top of a pyramid watching the sunset. I legit thought they were gonna bring back the Mark causes a sandstorm bit, but they didn't. Flashback to them in the hallway in high school from season 1, them looking at the Borealis and holding hands. Flashback to them in the superhero costumes from season 1 flying towards the city and talking on top of a waterfall, them flying over the water. Flashback of them hugging, them standing on a bridge, them hovering over the
She's showing more details about them than anything.
clouds. They tell each other they love each other, and oh, my baby. Then we get a fake out ending of the episode, but since it's only 28 minutes in, we know it's not over yet. They go
I like to see that Mark finally learned how to riz though.
back to Mark's room, and Eve uses her powers to strip him down. Then it cuts away before they
When I saw that, I was like, oh my god. And one thing about this, bro, I would love if Dragon Ball, the Team 4-Star if Team 4-Star got a hold of this, because Team 4-Star is hilarious in these situations.
The narrator, Paul F. Tompkins, comes back to steer us away from
Nah,
watching
but
them be busy,
That was a little funny too.
just like he did when Mark and Amber got busy in season 2, episode 3. In that one, they also had a fake out credit scene and more after that. And in that episode, it also cut away to a second part featuring Alan, which is what we get here. Alan's huge now because every time he dies, he just gets stronger. So the guards have been trying to kill
Every time he dies, he never died.
him over and over, just making him super strong. He is one of the last remaining Utopians who was genetically engineered in a breeding camp for the purpose of being able to stand against the powerful Viltrumites. And I love how all the attempts just cause one of the captors to be killed off by stuff deflecting off Alan's chest or head every time. The narrator narrates how Alan and Nolan got here, including the end of season 2 when Nolan said, "I think I miss my wife." I love when Nolan starts going into his self-pity routine again. Alan just talks or thinks over his monologue. He's heard this a
Nah, Alan's one of the most likable characters though.
million times and is just sick of Nolan's shit. 2 mustached Viltrumites, very hot, arrived to execute Nolan. Now he's all healed up and strong again, but also
Oh yeah, they got a freak on the thingy. What the heck?
they beat the crap out of him anyway. So that's kind of hilarious that they waited for him to just heal just to beat him up again. As they're beating this man to death, they mention his many crimes, one of them being
Unapproved breeding with an inferior species.
when we learn later in the episode that the Viltrumites' numbers are actually down. It makes sense that the Viltrumites would have a strict rule about breeding, wanting to preserve their species. Couple of freakos. Alan then frees the other prisoners, which includes one
Man, they trying to get the bloodline back right.
we saw in the prison last season, but also Battle Beast from season 1, episode 5, who I am always afraid of. He's an alien warrior
See, they tried to play on Mark Top for getting whooped by that nigga, but that nigga's strong enough to whoop all the other Viltrumite niggas. It's crazy.
who wants to fight the best warriors from each planet. He almost killed Mark when they fought, and he was pissed that the new Guardians of the Globes weren't very good opponents. He is literally an insane cat Batman. Here we see he's at least as strong as a Viltrumite. Battle Beast is also voiced by Michael Dorn, aka Worf from Star Trek. The Viltrumites beating Nolan create ripples in the blood like the T-Rex stomping ripples in the water in Jurassic Park. And I'm also breaking that trailer down today. So if you see me in the exact same outfit in that video, it's because I did these videos in the same day and I'm very tired and I made Dashel stay here very late. And
Yeah, they need more staff on over there. I ain't gonna lie, that's a lot of nerds in the world. So, you know, I'm one of them if y'all need. Nah, I'm just
I'm sorry to everybody that had to work on this. But this show's really good. So like the breakdown. This helps.
I don't care.
Lead Nolan right to the execution chamber. This Viltrumite is going for the classic one-arm slice execution move we've seen before. Nolan wanting to die mirrors Immortal wanting to die as well. They both feel as though they have failed, but unlike the Immortal, by the end of the episode, Nolan is gonna come around and find a reason to live again. Alan busts in to save Nolan, but the Viltrumites kick his ass, and then Alan tells Nolan, "It looks like I'm going first, buddy." Alan later fesses up to letting the Viltrumites beat the shit out of him just to get Nolan to like really make a move. A little manipulative, but for a good reason. Nolan breaks free from his handcuffs, not wanting to watch his new friend die, and he, Alan, and the Battle Beast wail on the two dudes.
Yeah, I love that they whole character dynamic, man. That it's tough. I hope they make a whole crazy little team. They should have kept the cat nigga though.
It's such a bloody battle, but I really love this scene, and I love this sequence. Alan busts a hole in the prison ship, sucking most of the guards into space, killing them instantly, very similar to how they escaped in the comics. Battle Beast can't actually fly, so I love how he's just floating somewhere in space, just beating the Viltrumite. He must be a little bit
You getting beat by a nigga that can't fly in space is crazy.
away too because Alan lost track of them. I guess maybe they're just gonna float in space, trading blows forever, and honestly, for the best. Nolan and Alan finish
Nah, that nigga died.
off the Viltrumites together by each punching his head in and bursting it, which I don't think I can show here. But again, is a really good sequence. Nolan says that no one is going to come to investigate the prison break and spills the big secret about how few Viltrumites there really are. Fewer than 50 pure-blooded Viltrumites left. Nolan says this is why they—
Yeah, bro, that ain't no way they could win. Cause them two niggas right there, hands. Invincible, he's getting there. They ain't getting nowhere, bro.
can beat them, and he's finally on board to help. But I don't like how he treated Debbie, so if I see his ass on Earth trying to win her back,
She ain't gonna let that happen.
ain't nobody treating Sandra Oh like that in front of me. The narrator brings the attention back to even Mark, a post-coital bliss. It gets interrupted by a knock from Debbie, wondering why his door's locked.
Their faces look so scared, it's crazy.
And of course, Debbie, you know why that door is locked. Mark and Eve decide that they've got to get their own place, and Mark actually seems happy for once. But that happiness will not last, which means I am now worried about him and especially Eve, because this show, nobody can stay happy for long. And that's it for my breakdown on episode 4 of Invincible. Comment down below your thoughts. I'd love to thank you, and Barrett for writing this episode because I was busy doing Jurassic World Rebirth. And let me tell you, finding a bunch of mutant dinosaurs is really hard, but I do really love this episode of Invincible. This is my favorite episode so far in the season. Follow
Nah,
me.
for real though, I like that episode. Subscribe, man.
Focus on the money, anything else is irrelevant. I got back in my bag and my life started making hella sense. I went from being broken love to being rich and celibate. Why would I buy a dream when I could be the nigga selling it? Went from hustling, pimping, scamming, either way I'm